Okay, you little dinky die fuckers. So, anyway, I'm in Trawool, or actually I'm somewhere around here. Don't really know this area about, but I'm in the Strathbogie Granite, apparently. I've never read anything about this granite, but we're close to the Calvo Baffalif pylon, so I'm expecting that this granite's going to be the same age, about 350 million years. Look, they excavate dams, so they excavate these for, just in case there's a bushfire here, this is a really accessible source for firefighters. So that's why they keep it clear, and here's the actual dam itself. So I'm going to go down there, so I can actually see lots of granite boulders. So this is fairly hard to weather, and you can see a granite ridge. So that's where we're going, and it is raining. I've just had the flu, so maybe I shouldn't actually be out in the cold. But yeah, but you only live once. You pass away, you do it again. No, you don't. Do you get reincarnated, or do you get raped in hell? I don't know. Anyway, so basically, what are the trees? Well, typical eucalypts. They look like probably yellow box. Okay, and I hope I come across a snake, but considering it's only like 7 degrees, I doubt it. Okay, so here we have a outcrop of the actual granite. And as you can see, there's quite a lot of rock. A lot of it is fairly weathered. And it's supposed to have red-brown biotite, which you probably need to magnify it to actually see anything. And as you can see, you go up to the crest of the ridge, and well, it looks like it has large phenocrysts of feldspars. Have a look at that. Yeah, it looks like it does. That looks like fairly fresh type of rock. Okay, so yeah, try not to fall over here or run into a spider web. Okay, so as you can see, this is actually quite large. Oh, that looks beautiful, man. Ugh. And the fog is rolling in. Okay. So, yeah, that's beautiful. Go up the ridge, and it probably goes all the way up to there. And then it goes all the way down there. So anyway, I want to go back into the valley because it looks a lot better this time. Doesn't look as good up here. When you go in the valley, it brings this outcrop out a lot better. So, why is the elevation of this so high? Well, I think there's a lot of debate. But these organisms also break it down. Here's a large boulder, large outcrop. It's not yet been broken up. Okay, so all the information I know is that in the Cretaceous there was an uplift. So 350 million years ago, there was an accretion of Van Dieland. Well, I assume that was that age. That would have caused that it's come from the south, and it's called the Salwin block, as far as I know. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the accretion, because of the area to the north, which is where we are now, to be finned, so called fin skin. So that ripping off the crust allowed magma to intrude into various areas of Victoria, which we have, which is quite a lot. And then it's solidified into this stuff. So this is granite, it's granodiorite. This is this class as an S-type, it's a sedimentary type. It's probably a mounting of the lower part of the crust, and then that's been upwelling. And then there's been crystal fractionation. So if you go down deeper, it's probably there's a lot more dioritic type of material. Lots of people live around here. Okay, so in this section here it actually gets a lot more attractive, as you can see. And with this camera, it looks a lot lighter than what it is. So, okay, yeah, so it's been thin-skinned. Then during the Cretaceous, the central highlands are uplifted. Then was eroded. That put the Otway Formation in the south. Oh, lots of erosion. Rivering. So I can see the actual large phenocryst. That was pretty soft. Large phenocryst of... Did that come off? Yeah. Feldspars. So that would indicate the large phenocryst would have... Okay. I was talking about the uplift in the Cretaceous. Then there was another uplift in the Miocene, apparently, which has resulted in the current mountain range. So that's all the information I do have. I want to research it more, which I will. But I don't think there's been that much study in this formation. Okay. Okay, as for the phenocrysts, obviously they would have had to have formed underground, probably fractional crystallization, bit of cooling. The crystals will form and just floating around in the magma, but apparently with batholiths, only about 5% of the material is molten. The rest of it is pretty much... Let me jump over this boulder, tree. Yeah, apparently 95% is just a solid mass, and as it comes up, because of the release in pressure, it melts. So there's decreasing temperature, it needs to melt out. That's what it comes out at. So pretty much, yeah, always phenocrysts everywhere. And then we've got some river deposits, so the actual rounded material. So basically, this is the actual, probably the best place to actually see this stuff. So the only information I got is fucking so we've got the Hume Vale siltstone. Next there's the Strathbogie Granite, but I don't think it's called the Strathbogie Granite anymore. Okay, it says yeah, Strathbogie Granite. How about up here? Hume Vale siltstone, so it's embedded in the Hume Vale. Strathbogie Granite, so it's probably, I reckon the Strathbogie Granite's just been the actual renamed of the, so it's been Simonised. So it's no longer tribal granite, it's just Strathbogie. So S-type, biotype, cordierite granite. So I haven't got my glasses, so it'd be hard to read. Texturized, lithalized, fine grain, medium grain granite with minor cordierite, coarse grain, tourmaline, rich granite. Okay, so that is basically it. And here in the watercourse, where most of the erosion occurs, you can see the actual boulders. So it's actually quite beautiful. Okay, and this is going up the actual little gully on the side. You can see the actual granite itself just goes all the way up the hill. So this whole peak, whole mountain ridge is actually just granite. It's probably why they didn't clear it, because it's just too hard for agriculture. It's a lot worse than basalt. Basalt breaks it down quite readily, and basalt is nutrient rich. Anyway, I'm going back to the car. Yeah, and this one's probably nutrient poor because it's mainly just silicates, which not really that good for farming. Anyway, there's lots of kangaroo shit everywhere, so that's a good sign. Lots of dead trees, so it's been cleared. There we go, wombat shit. It's square shaped. So, and here's probably a wombat's burrow. So it's very interesting. Strathbogie tribal granite, whatever you want to call it. Basically, this, because the siltstone and the sandstone is easier to erode, they'll be worn down a lot quicker. So as long as this granite is here, it will form a peak because it's just harder. Quartz, it's just harder to weather than sand, silt and clay. Well, clay's already in a finer form. It's easy to actually break apart. Okay, and here we have some imported metamorphosed siltstone. Actually, this is a lot harder than the actual granite. You can't break that with a hammer, very hard. Granite's a lot easier. You can see it's all brocky. And it's actually, looks like it's part of the bedrock. So now, this is probably sandstone that overlaid the granite. Yeah, not surprising. Although they do act strange. So they overlaid the granite because it wasn't, but it was metamorphosed, so that's why it's quite hard. Then you have the granite on the other side. So obviously, if we look at it here, you've got granite, then you need to go down, granite goes underground and reappears on that side, and in between you have a trough of metamorphosed siltstone. It hasn't been weathered away yet. Anyway, I'm going home. I need to go play with more coins. So I hope you like that little endeavour. Now my camera's a bit stuffed, so night time on this side looks like everything's red. Looks like I'm stoned. However,